Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans. I'm Vinny and this is Sumo Files. And it's my pleasure to say that the new Banzuke is out, and the Zaki Basho is shaping up to be packed with storylines. At the very top, the Yokozuna ranks stay the same, but with a different feeling. Onosato finished 11-4 in July, sharing the Jun Yusho with Atami Fuji, Tamawashi, Kusano and Aonishiki. Yet, despite the strong result, he came under fire from Chairman Hakaku for allowing 4 Kimboshi. Some say those words were a little harsh, but they added pressure heading into Tokyo. Meanwhile, Hoshoryu looks healthier. He had a solid summer tour and seems to be putting injuries behind him, raising some hopes that both Yokozuna will deliver a strong showing this September. Just below, Kotosakura stands alone as the only active Ozeki. While he has managed 3 straight Kachikoshi, his sumo has looked heavy, weighted down by constant injury problems. That leaves fans wondering if we'll ever see him return to his prime, or if he will simply try to survive on the second highest rank of sumo. At Sekiwake, the landscape shifts. Daieisho, after withdrawing in July with a serious right calf injury, has been sent tumbling all the way down to Maegashira 10. Kirishima remains Sekiwake and will try to bounce back after losing 5 straight matches to close the last tournament, but the real spotlight is on Wakatakakage. With 22 wins across his last 2 tournaments in Sanyaku, he now needs 11 more to reach the 33 win standard that often triggers promotion to Ozeki. The association insists that number is not a guarantee, but given his recent form, Wakatakakage might just force their hand. The komusubi rank also see changes. Oshoma, after a disastrous 3-12, was sent crashing down to Maegashira 7, and frankly the association was generous not to drop him further. Veteran Takayasu holds his place after a 10-5 and is one to watch, as even a modest winning record could push him back to Sekiwake. The big surprise, however, is Aonishiki. The Ukrainian reached Sanyaku in a record time of 12 tournaments. He's the fastest wrestler to do it since the start of the 6th tournament format in 1958, leaving behind the old record of 14 tournaments shared by former Yokozuna Asashoryu, former Ozeki Konishiki, and former Ozeki Kotoshoho. It is important to mention that this record doesn't include wrestlers who started as Makushita Tsukedashi, as this is a privilege that only a few have. Maegashira 1 brings 2 dangerous names. Tamawashi, the 40-year-old Gyro man, finished 11-4 in Nagoya, winning the Shukun show and proving he still has what it takes. But he also left the summer tour with back problems, and it's not clear if he'll be fit to fight in September. Alongside him is Abi, who jumped from Maegashira 2 to Maegashira 1 after a 9-6, and with komusubi spots potentially opening, a simple winning record could move him up. At Maegashira 2, Hakuoho continues his steady rise, achieving his 3rd straight career high rank. Opposite him is Oho, who was kept in place despite a losing record, likely thanks to his Kimboshi against Shonosato. The Maegashira 3 and 4 slots are refreshed. Atami Fuji rocks up 7 spots after his 11-4 Jun Yusho, and Gonoyama climbs 3 after a solid 9-6. Right below them, Hiradoumi rises 1 spot with a Kachikoshi, while Wakamoto Haru slips 3 after a losing record. Maegashira 5 is the home of the new champion. Kotoshoho shocked Sumo by taking the Yusho from way down at Maegashira 15, and now he leaps all the way to 5. Who knows, maybe with another strong tournament he could find himself among the elite at Maegashira 1. Next to him, Ichi Yamamoto moves up 3 ranks despite collapsing in the final stretch of Nagoya, where he lost 5 straight after briefly leading the Yusho race. Needless to say that September is his chance to prove that run wasn't a fluke. At Maegashira 6, Kusano skyrockets from 14 after his breakout 11-4 performance, marking another career high. Opposite him, Onokatsu slides 3 spots after a rough Makekoshi. Maegashira 7 brings Takanosho, rewarded for his 9-6 in July, paired with Oshoma after his demotion. Endo, who once held this rank, is unfortunately gone, drops to Juryo after knee surgery. At Maegashira 8, Ura climbs thanks to Akachikoshi, though his campaign ended with another knee injury. He's joined by Kimbozan, who took a heavy fall down 5 spots. Maegashira 9 is a special story. Fujinokawa, who idolizes Midori Fuji for their similar stature, now sits side by side with him. Fujinokawa's fighting spirit in his top division debut earned him the Kotoshoho and a leap of 5 ranks. Midori Fuji, on the other hand, rises 3 with Akatsukoshi. Chiyoshoma, who once held this rank, drops out of the division after a disastrous 1-14. And I'm not gonna lie, I think it was quite exaggerated, especially when we consider some of the results that will appear at the end of this list. At Maegashira 10, Daieisho begins his long road back, joined by Shura no Umi, who rises 3 ranks. Below them, Shodai moves to 11, climbing 2, while Hoga falls to 11 after a losing record. The Maegashira 12 rank raises questions. Takeru Fuji, who tore his right biceps in July, tried to fight on but eventually pulled out. Reports suggested he'd need at least 2 months of recovery, and his participation in September is still uncertain. He's paired with Mitakeumi, who posted a 10-5 and seems to be stabilizing in mid-Maegashira as he looks to rebuild. At Maegashira 13 and 14, we see drops. Meisei plummets 8 ranks, Toki Hayate slides 2, Sadanoumi falls 6, and Dasakuryu also 2. At Maegashira 15, Tobizaru tumbles after elbow problems cut his Nagoya short, and he's joined by Shona no Umi, who returns to Makuchi with a 10-5 from Juryo. Hide no Umi, who once held this rank, also slides back to the 2nd division after a calf injury. The Maegashira 16 rank is filled with comebacks. Tomokaze returns after more than a year away from the top flight, and Nishikigi rebounds immediately from Juryo after just 1 tournament. But unfortunately, Kaio, who sat here in July, has been relegated after 11 losses. At Maegashira 17, we see both a return and a debut. Ryu then reclaims his spot after a stint in Juryo, while Hitoshi makes his long-awaited Makuchi debut. He becomes just the 11th Rikishi from Oitekaze stable to reach the top division since its re-establishment in 1998 by former Maegashira Daishoyama. Without a doubt, the best moment of the young wrestler's career. And finally, Maegashira 18 brings one of the luckiest survivors in sumo. Shishi was a Maegashira 17 in July, and stayed in the top division with a 7-8 only because Kotoeho, who shares the same rank, was demoted instead. That makes the Ikazuchi wrestler the 42nd and final man in the Makuchi division. And with that, we finish the Banzuke. So tell me in the comments what you think. Any injustices? Controversies? Feel free to speak your mind. Anyway, the Akibasho begins September 14th at Ryogoku Kokuji-kan, with stories at every rank and questions at every corner. So be sure to join me on that same day for the coverage of Day 1 highlights. That's it guys, until next time.